Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shanna Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology, and instructional coach for my district.
And I'm the one who makes sure this show goes from our mics to the space between your ears, Fuzz Martin.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Being all creative.
I guess. Pretty creative, you know. Do my thing.
Kind of in your head about it?
I'm kind of in my head about it. Mm-hmm. Especially today.
So today, we are talking about Headspace.
Headspace. I've heard of Headspace.
I'm kind of excited to talk about Headspace because there's so many kids and teachers that just kind of need some space in their head. Some meditation, some ways to relax, some
mindful tools.
Yes, mindful tools, being mindful people. I'm excited for Headspace. They're in episode 102.
102.
Which is crazy. It's kind of like taking a break, but really not taking a break because we're podcasting about how you can mindfully take a break.
Yes. Oh, take a break.
I was waiting for you to start singing.
We saw Hamilton last weekend. So whenever I hear a Hamilton lyric, actually there was a young man who was probably in middle school who was at the theater who had a shirt that said, all of my internal thoughts are Hamilton quotes or something like that.
Yes, it was cute. So Headspace is a super cool site, but also a app. So you can kind of go both ways with it. The app, however, you do have to pay for.
Yeah.
But educators have access to a free version of Headspace, which is awesome.
And the focus of this show
is all about
free tools for educators.
Yay.
Yay.
So it's free, it's for educators, and it's going to help you out a little bit.
Yeah.
So you go to headspace.com/educators, and you can sign yourself up. Just use your little school email and sign yourself up. And what's really cool is that it supports educators, like for students, where I'll kind of go through the different sites and, the different activities and stuff you can do with your students, because there's a ton of resources, which is awesome. But you also can use it for yourself. So you can take 10 minutes out of your day or 11 minutes out of your day while you're sitting there during prep or lunch or during silent reading time.
Before school, after school, in between parent-teacher conferences.
You can use it in your car if you do the app, or you can,
tether to your phone.
Yeah, you can do that too.
To your Chromebook or whatever tool you're using. Yeah.
So I was digging around with Headspace, and I started doing one. Actually, it was on patience. I was like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And they always talk about and it was really interesting because it kind of went into, you always think about the times that you're being impatient instead of just focusing on all the times that you are patient. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of just flipping the switch on that was kind of interesting. Anyway, so.
I know nothing about that.
Not at all. So with Headspace.
No, seriously, I need some help. Can you?
So I'll start with the educator piece. So if you go welcome to Headspace for educators, and it talks about your free teacher subscription, which I think is just awesome. And it kind of gives you a little background information, but also it has mindful tools for your classroom. So they have a guide that you can download, and there's a bunch of different resources. And this is not even digging into the different videos of the app, but this is just kind of exercises and how to use the site with your students and different things, ways that you can build some mindfulness into your daily lessons and just kind of into your classroom space and helping students with that. They also have a little poster, and they have a certificate of completion, which I thought was kind of cool. It's already done for you. So that way, if you need a little motivator, you can do that too. And then it talks about how to learn to care for yourself. So then there's another section that you can go through, and it kind of is a step-by-step guide to be a little happier, find a little happiness in your life and things like that. So this whole section is based just for educators, which I think is fantastic because there's a lot that educators are doing still, and that everyone needs a little break and a little uplift here and there. So if you go to the Headspace, once you sign yourself up and you go into their site, it's pretty straightforward. So it starts off with 10-minute meditation with Sam, and it's kind of cool because there's video guides, and the people, it says, you're like, Sam, are you with Alex? And it kind of, you know, which people maybe that you like to hear the sound of their voice and stuff. So it walks you through meditation and breathing. And what I found to be kind of interesting, I listened to meditation before, and sometimes it's the person talking the whole time. And I don't like that. I like, tell me what I need to do and then give me silence so I can meditate. I don't need your voice to guide me the whole time. And the one I went in, it was a meditation. This went with patience and meditation. And what's kind of cool is that they explained everything, and then they're like, okay, and now you're going to actually apply this. And just the screen, there's a little like background music, and the screen colors, they kind of look like a sunshine. Everything's kind of orange, yellow, and like pink and red. And so it just looked like a sunrise, kind of like cartoony though. Like it wasn't all naturey and stuff, but it kind of like pulsed with what you should be breathing, which I thought was cool. Anyway,
kind of like a visual guide of
how you should be taking your breath in, but it didn't scream that like you need to breathe now. It was just like,
breathe. That'd be a little distracting.
Super relaxing. Anyway, so if you just go through, they start off with meditation, but what I like even more is so you can explore meditation, but then beginning meditation, courses, and singles, so you can go through like a whole course and it will walk you through step by step, like learning different ways to meditate and be more mindful. Or there's like single lessons, so if you're having a super stressful day and you need to like crank out like you just want someone to guide you through some meditation, you don't have to do a whole like step-by-step process, but you can. And they have courses A to Z, so each meditation piece has a purpose. So they have from like finding balance in your life, basics, to like approaching birth. They have different, like, depending on what you're dealing with in your life, like dealing with distractions, grieving, fear of the future, happiness. So it opens up different pieces as you go through. They even have like pregnancy. They have them on reframing loneliness. Like they address so many different ways that you can be more mindful, like in your approach to things. They have sports communication and sports now. They have all kinds of different meditations to help you and support, you know, your needs, which I think is awesome. Another piece that I love, so you can do this by yourself as a teacher, but you can also do it with your students or share it with your guidance counselor, or if they know students that might benefit from it. Or if you're close with the student and you can say, hey, this, you know, might be beneficial to you. I also know like teachers that kind of build it into their classroom. Kind of depends on what you're able to do in your school as well.
Sure, yeah.
But they have a parent and kids section, which I think is awesome. And what I really liked about this is they have Be Mindful About Parenting, which I was like, yeah, I should probably watch those. Just because it makes you more aware as a parent and how you handle things. But awareness as caregivers, honoring efforts of others, patience, which I've talked about. I watched that one a few times. But then taking a breather, balancing screen time for kids, helping kids focus. And then they have kids-specific videos that they have done with Sesame Street characters.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah, that's
they
cool.
have belly breathing with Rosita, and like our youngest one is learning about belly breathing in guidance class. And so it's awesome because she talks about, she's like, I'm trying to belly breathe right now.
Or she'll say, Dad, take a deep breath in through your belly.
Yes. So
I'm like, I can't. I'm angry because, I don't know.
Something.
Gravity caused something to fall.
It's really cool. They have some of them based with Sesame Street characters for younger kids. So Try Again, Two-Headed Monster. They have I Sense like emotions. They have different things. They have bedtime meditations for kids. So if your kids have a hard time calming down at bedtime, and then how to like put your body to sleep, like how to relax. And they have bedtime stories. So they have like 9 different bedtime stories done with Sesame Street characters. And there are videos, like 20-minute videos or so. that you can watch, and it talks about, like, they have one that's Abby and Rudy under the stars, and they fall asleep in a forest, and they tell a story, and it's relaxing. And you just keep on going. Like, there's so many things to offer for kids, which I think is huge. We do a lot of, like, yoga with kids and stuff like that, but teaching them to meditate, I think, is an awesome skill for them to have. And they have it broken down by age level. So they have meditations for kids under 5, from 6 to 8, and then from 9th through 12th grade. So they have them broken down for kids depending on their age level, which is, I think, really helpful. So that way, yeah, you don't maybe want your 9 or 10-year-old watching the Sesame Street characters, but they do have then meditations for those from
so
9
age
to 12
appropriate stuff.
Yes, which is awesome. And again, broken down by the different categories that they can go into. So there's so many different opportunities for kids to test it out. They also have then timers in there where you can put in, and it's like some guided meditations, some like breaking it down for you, or you can like have meditation on like forever if you want to, and then techniques and support. So ways of focusing and like visualizing and reflection and things like that. So there's just so many different tools all in one place. And I really appreciate that they've made it free for educators, just because there's so many different ways that you can build this into your practice and also support your students with it as well.
They have a bunch of articles as well that will talk to you about how to relax. And so if you want to just go and read or come up with some ideas for teaching your students how to handle situations or how to become, to get into a good headspace, they have things like morning meditation, power napping, you don't really necessarily want in school, mindful eating, mindful cooking, stretching, social anxiety, I guess would probably work, better for, let's say you have students in a speech class, and part of speech class is overcoming that social anxiety of getting up in front of a class and speaking with people. So having a lesson on overcoming social anxiety, we're all here, we're all doing this. Here are some ways that you can release this, and know that we're all here in a safe space, may help them become better speakers, public speakers. And a whole bunch of how to improve self-esteem, mental toughness, how to stop worrying, how to be more present in a situation. They have all these kind of articles that you could read as an educator and then take some of those lessons. Exactly.
Yep. And they also have like the science behind it too. So they have information that breaks down like their approach versus the benefits of these different mindfulness practices and research based information. So that's all in their website as well. So you have the background if you need it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very neat resource. And this app has actually been referred to someone I know from their physician. So it's a well-respected app, not just from, this portion for educators is great that they have a free version for you. Yeah. But if, just in personal life, or if somebody or care about, or even yourself, and you want the app side of it, it's pretty affordable from a monthly standpoint. So,
if you end up having to pay for it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's a little headspace. Hopefully you can find a little space
in your head
and take a little breather.
Find a little space in your daily routine.
Yes. We could sit here silently on the podcast for 10 minutes, and then you could have some mindfulness time.
Could I talk to you smoothly about how you should be relaxing?
Instead of just building 10 minutes of silence into the podcast, you can just, when you're done with today's podcast, just shift over to Headspace, try it out.
Yes.
And take 10 minutes of your time.
You could go get Headspace, feel really good about yourself, say, hey, thank you, Shanna, for helping me with this. I'm going to buy you a coffee, and go to your website at smartandwi.com and click on the little coffee cup in the bottom right-hand corner and buy Shanna a cup of coffee, because she does this every single week and loves it, but also
I like coffee too.
She likes coffee. Because one important part of your Headspace is caffeine intake in the morning. Yeah, I'm kidding. That's not a part of the thing.
Yes, you can just stop right
I'm clearly not a doctor.
But anyway, go take some time and try out Headspace. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at SmartinWI. And if you want to get more information to the links and technology discussed in this episode, visit smartinwi.com. If you'd like to support the show, please consider buying me a coffee or two. Visit buymeacoffee.com/smartinwi or visit smartinwi.com and click on the purple coffee cup. Your donations help keep the show going. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed in this podcast and the Smart in WI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed on this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we hope they do. And we'll talk to you next time on the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast.